Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. Nick Ball retains his WBA featherweight title. He stops an unbelievably game Ronnie Rios in 10 rounds. The towel actually came in. Rios had been down for the third time in the fight. In that 10th round, he was knocked through the ropes. An absolute avalanche of punches from Ball pushed him through the ropes. He crawled back in under the bottom rope. He was on the ring apron, crawled back in, got up. But the look on his face, I mean, he's absolutely shattered. But he would have carried on. And the towel thankfully came in and oddly enough landed on Ball. So that was that. And this was a good fight. Ball in the post-fight interview said he might have got a bit carried away with the crowd because he took too many shots. But he obviously likes a row. He obviously likes to have a good old punch-up. And he came in, he's 5'2" tall, so he's always going to have the so-called disadvantage of in terms of dimensions. But don't underrate Nick Ball's skills. He's got a killer jab on him, very much like the young Mike Tyson. And people are going to compare Ball, to have a similar style. I think Tyson had a little bit more finesse and subtlety. And probably got hit less when he was in his prime. I'm thinking the Tyson of sort of 1987, 88. And Ball doesn't quite have that one-punch power in relative terms because obviously he's a featherweight. But I'll tell you what, he can box a bit. The jab is good. He steps in with the jab. He moves his feet quickly and bang with the jab. Very, very impressive. But Ronnie Rios, to start with, I mean, he's about 5'7", 5'8". Ball's 5'2". You would think when you consider the height difference that Rios would have tried to at least jab and move. Not a bit of it. He shelled up, stood in front of Ball, square on, and tried to exchange. And in the first round, you were thinking, well, this can't be his tactic. Surely he's going to start to move his feet a bit, try and give Ball some angles, offset him, and make him reset constantly. Not a bit of it, but Rios just shelled up and moved forward, and Ball was having a field day, at first and the second round. And then in the third round, he actually floored Rios with there was a barrage. He fires so much punches you can barely keep track of them. But he fired a barrage, and then it was a left hook that unhinged. It sort of clipped Rios on the chin and put him over. And you thought, well, you've only got yourself to blame, mate, for fighting with those sort of daft tactics. Now Rios got up, and you thought the writing's on the wall because he was getting the absolute living tar punched out of him. But he hung tough. He made it to the end of the third round. In the fourth round, it was pretty much more of the same. Although he did start to fire his own punches back, as if the fog was lifting. And then in the fifth round, I thought he won that round, Ronnie Rios. I thought he outpunched unbelievably, but maybe not outpunched, but the accuracy was there, and he was landing his own straight shots. And Ball had, perhaps because of the energy he'd used trying to get rid of Rios, he slowed down a little bit, enough for Rios to pinch that fifth round. Now you thought, is this a sort of a sign of things to come? Because Ball, between rounds, his nose, there was a lot of blood coming out of his nose and his mouth, and they were sticking all sorts of bandages up his nose and, trying to stop the bleeding. And I thought, is that nose busted? In a post-fight interview, Ball said, well, my nose always goes, it's boxing. You get hit on the nose, it goes. Who cares? But then this continued throughout the fight. There was blood flying everywhere, and most of it, oddly enough, was Ball's, even though the one taking the absolute smashing was Ronnie Rios. But Ball did regain control of the fight in the sixth round. And then in the seventh, there was a second knockdown in favour of Ball, which I thought was a little unfair. I thought it was a sort of forearm smash to the side of the head, and it knocked Rios off balance. He lost his footing and fell back. I don't think that was a knockdown, but it was called a knockdown. He gets up, he complains. No point in complaining. He gets on with it. Still fighting back, still taking a hellacious battering. I mean, God almighty, this fella, right? He came in with 34 wins. This is Ronnie Rios I'm talking about. 17 KOs. He had 4 defeats and 3 were by stoppage. And 2 fights ago, he got stopped in the 12th and final round by Murodjon Akhmadaliev, who's undefeated at the time at 10. I think is he still undefeated, Akhmadaliev? I think he is. No, he didn't. He isn't, is he? Because he lost to Tapalis. Of course he did. He lost to Tapalis. Right. Okay. That was a bit of an upset. Yeah. I remember that. Okay. So Akhmadaliev stopped him in. That was in May, June of 2022. And since then he's had 1 fight. But you're looking at his stoppages. I mean, you're looking at his stoppage defeats. If you go back to 2018, Azar Ovanisian stopped him in 6 rounds. And you're thinking, these guys must have had concrete gloves, because this bloke can really take a punch. He can just take a barrage of punches and not go anywhere. And if you go to 2017, he also lost to Ray Vargas. That was a 12-round decision. Now, as you may know, Nick Ball drew with Ray Vargas for the WBC title, and that was the fight before he fought Ray Ford, where he won a split decision and picked up the WBA title. But a lot of people thought Nick Ball beat Ray Vargas. So, I mean, this was the 3rd attempt at a world title for Rios, and he's been kind of unlucky, because this guy shows real world champion's heart and mettle, but couldn't quite get over the line to win a world title. It's a shame, really. It's a shame. And this is his 5th defeat now, 4 of them by stoppage. He's 34 years old. I don't think he'll be back at world level again, but you never know. You never know. But this type of beating takes years off you, and he ain't got many years to give away, not at 34. Ball, 27 years old. I mean, he'll be looking for unification fights, maybe a rematch with Vargas. That was a split draw that he had back in 20. The Vargas fight was this year, wasn't it? Early this year, because he had the Vargas fight and then he had the Ford fight. Yeah, so it was early February, Marchish time. He got that draw with Vargas, and then he went to Riyadh and fought. I think they were both in Riyadh, weren't they? The draw was in Riyadh, and then he went back to Riyadh and beat Ray Ford. Okay, it's coming back to me now. The fog's lifting. But anyway, getting back to this fight, I mean, that knockdown in the 7th, I thought, wasn't a knockdown. But up gets Rios, balls all over him again, bang, bang, bang. I mean, an avalanche of punches. He's found his sort of 2nd win, not that he ever really lost his 1st one. And he's beaten the crap out of Rios. Rios game as hell. And then in that final round, that 10th round, he scored the eventual stoppage. Rios goes through the ropes, gets up, towel comes in, it's all over. A TKO win for Nick Ball over Ronny Rios, and much deserved. But, I mean, I can't really emphasise enough how courageous Rios was. But at the same time, let's not take anything away from Nick Ball. He really did show a hell of a lot of, just a hell of an engine. The amount of punches he was throwing, it was unreal. He wasn't throwing 2s, 3s, and 4s. He was throwing 5s, 6s, and 7s. And the gas tank on the little guy, he calls himself Wrecking Ball. Fireball would be another good nickname, because he is like a huge fireball that just hurtles towards you. But a great win for Nick Ball. Retains his WBA featherweight title, looking for the unifications, and a lot of fun to watch. Very, very entertaining fight to watch. So what did you think? What did you think of this fight? What do you think of Nick Ball? What do you think of Ronny Rios? What do you think Nick Ball should do next? Do you think Rios has reached the end? Is it retirement time? I don't know. Not for me to say, but you tell me what you think. Leave your comments below as usual. Please, if you're new and you could subscribe to the channel, that would help us out a lot, because we're building the channel up. And also, if you could hit the like button if you like the video. We've got lots and lots of videos for you to watch. Much love to all of you. Ain't been a bad little night's boxing from Liverpool. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll catch you later. All right. Bye for now.